Yo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. Today I am bringing you, I guess, a video regarding one of the most important examinations, or I guess studies you can do prior to seeing if you qualify for GERD surgeries. I've done this examination at least twice. I remember I did it prior to having the Nissen application, and also prior to having the links, right? The first time, it was mainly to see, of course, how my motility was on my esophagus, to see how the muscles were working, and then the surgeon was gonna go based on that to see if I will qualify for the surgery. Um, Also, with the first one, I do recall that I had a 24-hour pH test, right, where they leave, this little wire going down, and they leave it right where your sphincter would be at, right where your stomach meets the esophagus, to see the amount of reflux you have throughout the day, to see how much you're regurgitating, how many times you're regurgitating throughout the day. But I will be making a separate video on that because I believe it's its own procedure. Except at that time, I guess they killed two birds with one stone by doing the manometry study and then also doing the pH testing, the 24-hour pH test. I think it's called the impedance test as well. So I'll be making a separate video on that. But regarding the manometry study, after the Nissen had failed, the new surgeon wanted to see what my motility was and how strong the muscles in my esophagus were. This was very important in the second surgery for sure, because the larynx has a certain pressure that you need your muscles to conduct in order to open the larynx, correct? So it has a certain pressure where you can swallow and the device will still open, but enough pressure to hold so the stomach and the content in your stomach will not go up back to your esophagus, which includes the reflux, the regurgitation, or any stomach content that goes up back to your esophagus. So mine was really good. It was really strong the second time around as well, and that's the reason I qualified for the for the links. Of course, as you know, the links has also failed me, and I've made separate videos regarding that, so you guys can go watch that. And of course, I'll be keeping you guys updating on the journey of what's gonna go happen next with that. So now I'll be answering the question as to why I had the manometry study. And I think, if you're here, you already know that answer, or it's very obvious. But from my experience, the reason I had it was because I was obviously looking forward, or at least looking to getting a surgery. With the first one was my Nissen fundoplication. So I had symptoms of not just acid, but a lot of symptoms of regurgitation, which obviously they're different, because to me, from what I know from different people, reflux is just a lot of acid and acidic content that goes up to your esophagus, right? But the regurgitation, it's basically the whole food content, and that includes the acid reflux, right? So naturally, when I regurgitate the food content, that everything I eat or drink, I regurgitate it back to my esophagus, and I have to keep swallowing back down and drink more water in order for it to go back to my stomach. And I constantly had to do that in the past, and I still do that to this day, to be honest, unfortunately. But that was the reason I had to get the testing done. That was really a big issue, and to this day it still is. But at the time, that was the reason I had to get the study, in order for my surgeon to see that, okay, I am having some issues, and I am qualified for it, because my muscles, again, as I repeated in the past, they were pretty strong. My motility was really strong as well. So everything from this area was working pretty fine. So now let's get on to what happens during the motility study. Prior to the day prior, I remember I wasn't able to drink or eat after 12 p.m. When it comes to a study like this, they always leave it bright early in the morning. At least from my experience, It's always been very early, at least, be there around like 7 or something, and the testing will start around 8. Which, to be honest, is really great because you can't eat or drink anything until you get there. So as soon as you wake up, you go to the clinic or the hospital, wherever you're doing the study, and it's very beneficial because then you get that over with, and then you're able to eat or drink anything again. So with the manometry study, when I got there, it was something that I've never experienced. I think this is one of the testings that are more tedious. They're probably the ones that you don't want to repeat very often. It just sucks, to be honest. It sucks, right? They stick it's almost this little catheter that goes into your nose, and it goes all the way down to your into your esophagus, and it's very, very, very uncomfortable, like super uncomfortable, because you're not used to that. It's almost like, think about it, if when I don't know if any of you guys have a gotten tested for COVID, but you feel, when they stick that little, thing all the way up your nose, and it feels just like that. But what the person that day, I'm not sure if it's a nurse or who was the person that was doing the study on me that day, but she had to find like which hole was, like, I guess, more open that day. And I believe that day, I think it's my left one. So when she went through it, she found, she was able to, it was easier to go, down to my esophagus. So they lube up this catheter, like, right, that has a lot of sensors on it, so it can measure your activity when you're doing the rest of the test. So the first time when she put it on my nose, I think it was my left nostril, when she went in, I sneezed like on her. I sneezed so hard. Luckily though, she had like face coverage that day. Which is a great thing. But I felt so bad, and it was funny at the end. But just for you guys, that if you guys are having that, pretty soon, just keep that in mind, that you're probably gonna sneeze on the person that is doing a study on you. But they'll be prepared because they have face masking on and all that. Especially now, they'll definitely have some face coverage on. But I sneezed right on her, and it was kind of embarrassing, and I felt kind of bad. But she told me that it was natural and it happens a lot. But for me, my mentality was, look, just try to get this over with, because it's already out. As soon as I started feeling that, I was like, oh man, it's about to be a pain in the ass. So she started going down into my esophagus. She was going slowly, 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 until she got where she wanted it to be. And when she got to this point, she also had a little bit of a struggle trying to just, that last little part, trying to get almost, where that sphincter is at, and trying that to open, trying to find it. So she was moving it up here to trying to get it to move it down here. And that's very, very uncomfortable. It kind of hurts to some point, to be honest. So once she got that down packed, and, it was all good, I started drinking water and sips of water to see how I would take the content. Why? So the content, which, it's water. I know also though that you can do crackers, which I didn't know until the second time I had this around, by the way. So if they really want to see how good your motility is, I guess, and a little bit more accuracy, they'll do some crackers, which is, I guess the texture of it will help them determine how good your motility is, period. But the first time, I believe I just had a water, and I might have had some like more solid drink that day. I don't remember what it was. This was around like 4 years ago. So excuse me if, I'm giving you something that's wrong information, but for sure they'll make you drink water, and they'll make you also drink like other little things with like tablets maybe that will like, gas you up. Not even sure what the whole testing consisted of the first time, just because like it's been so long, it's the amount of testings I've gone through, it's so many. But I do know that, you'll definitely try to they'll try to use some water, and they'll make you sip at least 10 times, right? At least from my experience. They made me lay down the first time, and she made me sip 10 times to see how my motility is laying down. And then she made me get up, and she made me take another 10 sips to see how my motility was doing. I do recall when I was looking at the testing, I was able to see the screen and how my motility was working, I was able to see a pattern of how like constant my swallowing was. And for I guess 90% of it, my swallowing was very constant, and it looked very strong because she was explaining to me, what was going on in the muscles as the water was going down. But there was a point where the water or the content I was taking, it kind of got stuck in this area, right? And I asked her, "What is that?" And she told me that there's something's going on, because I was able to see on the screen the measurement, and it reacted a little bit different. And I was like, "What is that?" And she told me that that at the end I was having struggle pushing the water down into my stomach. Either that, or I was pushing it down, and since I had regurgitation issues, the water kept coming back up, and it was meeting the water that was going down. The water that was coming up, it was meeting the water that was coming down, and obviously, physics, it would just naturally meet up halfway, and like it wouldn't let it go all the way down, so it would take some time for the water to go back down, which is very interesting. It's something that like I feel like it could translate into my experience, and I was like, oh, that does make sense, because I feel like that happens to me sometimes, which is really cool, to be honest. So once she told me that, I knew there was something going on in this area, and the sphincter area, that wasn't right. And now I want to talk to you about the cracker situation. The only reason I knew about the cracker thing was because she told me the second time that she was gonna make me take some crackers, and I was like, I can't, because I already have this catheter going down my throat. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to swallow the crackers. I think it's gonna be way too rough for me. And I told her about the Nissen. At that point I already had the Nissen, and I told her how my stomach was already twisted, and like I already had all these issues. And if you make me drink some crackers, I'm gonna probably have to drink way more water than I should, or eat more crackers to actually push the crackers down. And it's not that it's my motility that was an issue. It's the fact that this area it continued to be an issue even after the first surgery. So if not, it was probably even worse. So I was like, let's not do that. I don't think that would be a good option. Let's just stick to the motility to see how my muscles are working, and to see if the sensors catch anything new. But it turned out that, again, that my motility was really good. It was actually, what the surgeon told me, that it was strong. So to me, it was great. It's good news. It means I was qualified to have the LINX procedure as an option. But besides that, the testing is pretty quick. I think it will take like 30 minutes, if so, maybe longer, depending, how long it takes to get everything prepared. But it shouldn't take that long. It is probably, like I said, one of the most tedious examinations. Something that I wouldn't want to do and go through again. Other studies are more simpler. Either they take time, or it's just it's something that your body copes with better. But having that manometry study down there, it's like it's really complicated. It's not pleasant at all. So I was just prepared for that. If you're looking forward to having that. So that's about it, man. So guys, that was a little quick overview on what I went through with the manometry study, and also as to why I had to get the manometry study. It is, like I said, it is very important towards your I guess the rest of your studies, and the rest of your examinations you're gonna have if you're planning on having surgery. Probably one of the most important examinations you can have, right? Because if everything's working up here, then the rest you won't have to worry about that. It's something that the doctor also, I believe, they look at as a high consideration for surgeries. But from my experience, like I told you, that was that. I wouldn't do it again for sure. And it's a quick overview. I didn't want to go like so much into details. One reason, I'm gonna be honest, because I hardly remember exactly what happens. It's not something that I really want to like even remember, to be honest. My mind just blocks it out. And others, because when you go through it, you're gonna find out yourself exactly how it is. Many places doing it very, very differently. and you'll find out for your own what it is. But I just wanted to bring a little quick overview to have that on my channel as well, because a lot of people ask me about my manometry study, and I just figured, you know, I'll have that up as well as another testing or examinations that I've been through, and even including surgery. So it's probably one of the package of the video. So once again, guys, I appreciate you guys watching my channel. We're close to 400 subscribers. You know, it's a blessing having you guys here, building a community. You know, without you guys, you know, this channel doesn't happen. So I appreciate it. Thank you for all the love. It means a lot. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace and love, baby.